Hi guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about failure in pharmacy school or perceived failures in pharmacy school. I actually wrote everything in this journal because I don't want to forget anything because this is something that is very important to me. So as embarrassing as it can be, if you guys remember how in the last video I was studying for ID, I didn't do well in that exam. In fact, I didn't pass that exam. And the average was pretty high. The average was 82 and I got a high 60, so that's a D, which means I didn't pass. So as the semester is starting to wrap up, I do think this is something important. It's something that needs to be talked about because I feel like a lot of pharmacy students don't talk about their failures because it's embarrassing. Like, we all just want to be the best in our class. Like, we got to pharmacy school, we should be so smart, we should be all straight A students. I think that's what everybody thinks, but that's not really what happens. So I'm going to talk about a few things that I wrote down for you guys. Yay. Okay, so I think this is going to be about like defining failure. So I think something that's really important is that we don't let our grades determine our success. If we get an A, that's awesome and we love how that feels, but that's not the end of the world. And everybody always says it, and we know it's true that once we graduate, our grades don't matter. But while we're there, we really want to be competitive. We all want to get straight A's. We would love to get 100%, but that's just not realistic for most of us. And I know I don't study as hard as I should, and I'm sure a lot of you don't either. And in fact, I know we all get burnt out. So that's a really big factor. Understand the material. I think that's the most important thing. If we don't get a good grade, but we understand it, so say we just missed a couple questions. Say you got like, I don't know, an 80 or something. You're understanding the concepts, you're understanding what you're being taught, but you just might not understand how the professor is examining you, or you might not have read a question correctly. I don't think that means you don't understand like what's in front of you, what you're learning. I think you do. I think you just could be nervous at taking tests. Everybody has different reasons for why they don't get hundreds. And I don't think your end goal should be getting hundreds on every exam. I know I said in some of my videos that I would love to get better grades, and that's true. I'm sure all of us would love to get better grades. But getting straight A's isn't realistic for a lot of us. A lot of people have spouses or kids or jobs. I think we just need to make sure that we're happy with what we're achieving, and as long as we're not failing, then that should be really all we could ask for. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is brain dumping. So this is not step 2, but like, I don't know, tip 2 is don't brain dump. So after you learn something, don't just like take the exam and then forget everything instantly. That is so bad. We're gonna have to take the NAPLEX. We're gonna see this stuff in our practice. It's so important that we actually learn this stuff and remember it. Obviously, we might not remember every small detail, but I think as long as we're remembering like the big major points, that's what we need to know. The next thing I have is 3. Not every class is going to be easy for you. You might be a straight A student, you might be, I don't know, the best exam taker ever, but when it comes to a class like communication, for example, maybe you're just not good at communicating, or maybe you get nervous talking to people, so maybe you get like a B or something. I don't think you should say you failed that class because you didn't fail it. That just might not be something that you're the strongest at. So you might need to work towards communication, work towards getting better at communicating, because communication is essential to the pharmacist career. But I just think if you say, well, I didn't get an A in this class, I didn't get an A in communication, so that means I can't communicate with other people. That's not true. So 4. Just because your friends are getting better grades than you are doesn't mean you're going to be any less competent of a pharmacist, or you're going to be not as good as at your job. This isn't true. Your friends just might study harder than you, or they might understand a topic better, or that just might be their strong suit. So I don't think we need to compare ourselves to how our friends are doing, even though I know I'm guilty of this because I always get like 85s. That's my average on exams. And then my friend over here gets hundreds or 96s. And she's really smart, but I don't think we need to compare ourselves to others, because not only is that going to bring yourself down, but then talking to your friend, you're not going to want to talk to them anymore because you know that what they consider a failure is a good grade for you, I guess. Okay, so back to success. 5. Getting straight A's doesn't mean you're going to be a phenomenal pharmacist. It doesn't mean you're going to be bad. That means you understand what you're learning, or it could mean you're a good test taker. So I don't think you need to say, hey, I got all A's, I'm going to be the best ever. That could be true, but just because you're getting straight A's doesn't mean you're going to be like the best pharmacist. And just because you're getting C's doesn't mean you're going to be a terrible pharmacist. I think you just need to decide where your middle lies. Another thing I have is don't give up. I know it's really hard when you feel something, you're like, maybe I'm not meant to be a pharmacist, maybe this class isn't for me, Like, why am I doing this? That's really common. I've gotten that. I think everybody gets that. You get burnt out. It's really hard. You're always busy. For us, we have exam after exam after exam. So we had an exam this Monday and we had an activity session Thursday. We have quizzes, we have other assignments due. It's just really important. If you feel one thing, don't give up. You have a lot of other classes, you have a lot of other assignments. That one exam is not always going to determine your grade. It might be worth 10%, it might be worth 30%, you never know. It stinks, but it's not the end of the world. Then I'm going to talk about something for undergrad really fast. One other thing I think is really important is for those of you who are in pre-pharmacy, I think we get so caught up on wanting to be the most competitive, wanting to have the best grades, wanting to have the best PCAT score, that we forget to make ourselves well-rounded candidates sometimes. There are other things you can do. You can work outside of pharmacy, you can volunteer, just get involved. Get good letters of recommendation. There's a lot you can do to show that you're passionate about this field. It's a big field. There's a lot of difference we can make in this. I think when somebody's applying for grad school or pharmacy school and they say, well, hey, I've gotten a C, I'm not going to get into my dream school because it's really competitive. That's not true. I had somebody at my IPPE site, they were like, I'm never going to get into pharmacy school because I have 5 C's or something like that. It was like, I know I had C's, but I didn't know how many I had getting into pharmacy school. So I counted. For all of my undergrad, I had 11 C's. We're just so trained to think that grades are everything that when you hear somebody has 11 C's, that they're just not cut out to be a pharmacist or they may not be smart enough. That's not true. Yes, pharmacy is hard. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort. I think just because you didn't get great grades, you might have a 3.0 GPA. That's not bad. That's fine. As long as you're passionate about the field, you can make a difference. I know schools do look for things like 3.5 GPA or above 75th percentile of the PCAT, so sometimes you might need to retake a class, but that's not the end of the world. If pharmacy is truly your passion, you will retake the PCAT, you'll retake the classes you need, and in the meantime, you could be making relationships with your professors or reaching out to somebody at the school pharmacy that you'd like to go to and talking with them and just getting involved. So I think all of that is more important than getting good grades, and I don't think you should let failure define you. And I know a lot of people say this, but as we are nearing the end of our second year, we have about 3 weeks and 1 day left. I have realized that if you think getting straight A's is the only way to define success in pharmacy school, I think you're going to be really upset and you're going to be struggling a lot. I know a lot of us are stressed out right now, and rightfully so. We are so busy. But at the same time, we have to make sacrifices somewhere sometimes. So for ID, for example, I studied really hard and I know I didn't know a lot of the content. Or when it came time to take the exam, I didn't feel confident. So I didn't do well. So this time we have another exam coming up in 2 weeks over upper respiratory tract infections and just a few other like general disease states caused by bacteria. So I've gone to the professor, I've emailed him and just said, hey, what can I do better to make sure I don't fail again? So I think how you come back from your failures is what is really going to help you in pharmacy school. So I know this is kind of a long video and I kind of rambled and my thoughts are kind of all over the place, but I just really think that at the end of the day, you just need to know what your success is. And I think you just need to wake up and say, I'm just going to do the best I can. If that's a failure, here's what I'm going to do next time to make sure I don't fail again. And if it's a good grade, then congratulate yourself. You worked so hard for it, and it's not easy to do well in pharmacy school. I just think we all need to stick together, especially because it's almost finals week, or if you're applying to pharmacy school or just got accepted, congratulations. So I hope you guys take something from this video, and I hope it's helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, or if you just want to talk about something, then I'm always here for you. But I will catch you guys later. I need to go study. Bye.